You don't miss them, at least not in the way you think you do. What you miss is the version of life where everything felt certain, where your phone lighting up meant something, where good morning wasn't just a habit, it was a feeling. And now it's quiet. Too quiet. You tell yourself you're over it. You laugh with your friends. You keep yourself busy. But then it hits you out of nowhere. A song, a place, a random memory at 2017 a.m. And suddenly you're right back there again, wondering, why wasn't I enough? Did they ever really love me? Why can't I just let go? Here's the truth. No one tells you you're not stuck because you still love them. You're stuck because you never got closure. No real ending. No explanation that actually made sense. Just silence or words that didn't match their actions. And your brain hates unfinished stories. So it keeps going back. Again, and again, and again. Trying to solve something that no longer exists. But listen carefully, closure doesn't come from them, it never did. Because even if they came back right now and gave you every answer you've been waiting for, it still wouldn't fix the one thing that actually broke you, the feeling of being replaced, the feeling of not being chosen. And that's what you're really holding on to, not them, the version of you that felt wanted. Let me tell you something you might not want to hear. If they were meant for you, you wouldn't be this confused. Love doesn't leave you questioning your worth. It doesn't disappear and expect you to understand. Real love stays. Real love communicates. Real love doesn't make you feel like you have to earn it. So why are you still thinking about them every day? Because your mind is addicted to what could have been, not what actually was. You're replaying the highlights, but forgetting the pain, the overthinking, the waiting, the moments you felt small. You're not trying to get them back. You're trying to get that feeling back. And those are not the same thing. Moving on isn't about forgetting them. It's about remembering the truth without editing it. It's about accepting that some people are only meant to be a chapter, not the whole story. And yeah, it's gonna hurt. For a while. You'll still think about them. You'll still have those moments. But one day, it won't hit as hard. Then one day, you'll go hours without thinking about them. Then days. Until eventually, they become a memory instead of a question. And when that happens, you won't need closure anymore. Because you'll finally understand something that changes everything. They didn't leave because you weren't enough. They left because they weren't right. And that's your freedom. It's not that you still think about them. It's that a part of you still hopes. Not in a loud, obvious way. Not in a they're coming back tomorrow kind of way. But in quiet moments, you wonder, what if they text me one day? What if they realize what they lost? What if this isn't really the end? And that tiny bit of hope, that's what keeps you stuck. Because you can't fully let go of something you still believe might come back. So you do this thing where you don't move on, but you also don't move forward. You just stay in between, not theirs anymore, but not free either. You check their profile. You notice when they're online. You pretend you don't care, but deep down, you do. And that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But here's where it starts hurting you. Every time you go back to look at them, you reopen something your heart was trying to heal. Every time you imagine a future with them again, you delay the one that's actually meant for you. You're not healing, you're pausing the pain. And there's a difference, because real healing, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like accepting something you didn't want to be true. It feels like letting go of a version of your life you were sure was going to happen. And yeah, that's terrifying. But ask yourself this, if they came back right now, would it actually be different? Or would you just be walking back into the same confusion, the same mixed signals, the same version of love that made you question yourself? Be honest. Because sometimes we don't miss the person. We miss the idea that this time it could work. But could is not will. And you deserve something that will. So here's the shift. Stop asking, why don't they want me? Start asking, why am I still choosing someone who didn't choose me? That question changes everything. Because now, it's not about them anymore. It's about you, about your standards, your self-respect, your ability to walk away from something that isn't giving you what you deserve. And I know that's not easy, because letting go feels like losing them all over again. But staying stuck is losing yourself. So maybe it's time to stop waiting. Not for a text, not for closure, not for a second chance, but for yourself. To finally decide, I deserve better than this. And when you truly mean that, that's when everything starts to change. There's a moment, it doesn't come all at once. It's quiet, subtle. You don't even realize it at first. It's the first time you think about them. And it doesn't hurt the same. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally stopped hoping. You stopped checking your phone, not to prove something, but because you genuinely don't expect anything anymore. You stop replaying old conversations. Stop wondering what you could have said differently. Stop trying to rewrite a story that already ended. And that's when it hits you. You were never stuck on them. You were stuck on the version of you that existed with them. The one who felt chosen, wanted, important. But here's what changes everything, you realize. You can become that version of yourself again, without them. And suddenly, it's not about losing them anymore. It's about finding you. You start doing things without thinking about how they'd react. You start enjoying moments without wishing they were there to see it. You start building a life that doesn't have their name written all over it. And yeah, sometimes the memories still show up, but they don't control you anymore. They pass through you. Like a song you used to love, but don't play on repeat anymore. That's healing. Not forgetting, not pretending it didn't matter, but finally making peace with the fact that it's over. And the craziest part, the version of you that comes after this is stronger, calmer, more sure of what they deserve. Because now you know, love shouldn't feel like confusion. It shouldn't feel like chasing. It shouldn't feel like you're trying to convince someone to stay. And you won't accept that again, not after everything you felt. One day, someone is going to walk into your life, and they won't make you question anything. No mixed signals, no guessing, no silence that leaves you overthinking. And when that happens, you won't even recognize the person who once begged for the bare minimum. Because you'll finally understand, you weren't hard to love. You were just giving your love to someone who didn't know how to hold it. And letting go? That wasn't your loss. It was your upgrade. You're going to wake up, and they won't be the first thing on your mind. No heavy feeling in your chest. No urge to check your phone. No replaying old memories before you even get out of bed. Just peace. And it won't feel dramatic. No big moment, no announcement. Just a quiet realization. They don't have a hold on me anymore. And that's when you finally understand something. You didn't lose them. You outgrew them. Because the version of you that was willing to settle, that version is gone now. You don't chase like that anymore. You don't beg for clarity. You don't ignore red flags just because you feel something. You've learned. The hard way, yeah, but you've learned. And maybe, just maybe, that's why it had to hurt the way it did. Not to break you, but to wake you up. To show you what love isn't so you never confuse it again. Because now, you notice the difference. You notice effort, consistency, respect. And you don't question it anymore because real love doesn't make you question. And here's the part no one talks about. You don't even want them back anymore. Not because you hate them, but because you finally see clearly. You see the times you overgave, the times you stayed quiet, the times you accepted less than you deserved just to keep them. And now, you wouldn't. Not for them. Not for anyone. Because you finally chose yourself. And that's how you know you've healed. Not when you forget them, but when you remember them and still choose you. So if you're still hurting right now, if you still think about them every day, if a part of you is still holding on, just know this. You're not behind. You're not weak. You're just in the middle of becoming someone who will never settle like that again. And one day, you'll look back at this version of you, the one who couldn't let go, and you'll smile. Not because it didn't matter, but because you made it through. And this time, you didn't lose love. You found something better, yourself.